said defiance ends here, hatchling.
Hey guys, I want to go over my new Kinetic Blast multi-mirror in-stack and Trickster build. This build is extremely fun and absolutely insane this league. This won't be a full build guide yet. I just want to quickly go over what I'm doing, what I plan to do with the character, and most importantly, I really want to make this character as best as I can. I have invested 18 years so far, and I plan to invest a lot more into this character. Kinetic Blast this league is just absolutely insane, namely because of Doriani Merc. So yeah, I want to make this the best KB character I can. I'm already at 33,000 ES at level 97, so I still have room for improvements. My Abyss Jewels aren't that great. I do have insane gear, but it's not done yet. I can definitely invest like 10 more mirrors into this character and reach even higher ES and higher damage. Let's quickly go over Kinetic Blast. First things first, why KB? So it's no surprise to anyone, KB has the best clear in the entire game. Nothing really compares, not even bow builds. It is just the best clear speed skill in the game. Everyone knows that. The only downside is it usually has pretty bad single target damage relative to other builds at the same investment. You know, like last patch, a 10 mirror KB instacker maybe had like, I don't know, 300 mil DPS, maybe 400 mil DPS, which is relatively low compared to other builds at that budget range. And it can be quite tough when you're doing like, you know, risk maps with like triple tank mods and all that. This league, that all changes though. Because of Doriani Mercs, your single target is completely fixed at the high end. You can now reach like 800 to 1 billion DPS. And you know, 1 billion DPS at the point where you can do everything in the game. You can do Titanic Exiles, you can do Uber bosses in like 2 seconds, you can do whatever, right? At 1 billion DPS, that's really all you need at this game at the high end. Anything more is clearly overkill unless you're maybe doing like some high end Delph stuff, which, you know, I never do anyway. Yeah, Doriani Merc completely fixes your single target without having to give up your clear speed. So now you have the best clear speed in the game, and you have good enough single target for anything else in the game. So it's pretty much one of the best high-end builds this league, maybe the best, to be honest. I'm really enjoying this character so far, and just excels at everything I've put it at so far. It's just extremely good all around, while being extremely tanky as well. Also, Trickster is stronger this league overall despite the nerfs. The risk meta heavily favors Trickster, and of course the Dorian abuse makes Trickster insane damage because most Trickster builds are already light in damage. Yeah, Trickster this league is absolutely insane, and KB Instack is really nice on Trickster. The budget so far, I have 18 mirrors, or maybe like 17 mirrors invested into my version. It's not completed. I'm still gonna invest a lot more into my character. And I do roughly have a budget POB, quote unquote budget. That's 2 to 2.5 mirrors for the budget one. I do want to say, if you don't have that many mirrors, you don't have that much currency, it's better to go with the classic Deadeye Kinetic Blast under a mirror budget. The life-based version with Nimis, you know, 4k HP Deadeye, it's just better for under a mirror. It's a lot better performance. Instack really requires a lot of currency to feel good. So yeah, go if you want to actually play KB, it's very good this league. You don't need a high budget to play it. But if you want to go Instack, I would not go Instack until you're around that, like, you know, maybe 2 mirror range. Before that, I think it's really just way better just go life-based Deadeye. It'll be better performance, you know, for under a mirror. Last question is why Trickster over Deadeye? At high budget, Trickster is just better. There is like argument at like lower budget ranges, but yeah, at extremely high investment where I'm at, like 18 mirrors, Trickster is just better. You're gonna have the same clear speed with Awakened GMP, and you won't notice any damage loss. Like my clear is insane. I don't notice having a damage loss from Awakened GMP, and you're near 2x as tanky compared to the Instack Deadeye, or 10x more tanky, like actual 10x. Compared to the life version. And you're also better suited for risk maps because you ignore action speed modifier, and ES on kill is a very strong mod. Lastly, and probably the most relevant thing for this league, KB without Explodey has close to no lag relative to other builds. You know, I did a lot of testing today. I was able to do both high-end Breach max juice and high-end Blight max juice with almost no performance issues whatsoever. At most, I'll dip down to like 30 FPS, but there was no screen tearing, there was no lag, there was no crashes, anything. The performance was actually insane, and it's making me like this build even more because I can do these high-end strats, and it looks fine on stream, and it's no lag for me. I'm actually really quite surprised by how good the performance on KB is. Usually KB is not known for performance, it's usually known for actually bad performance. But I guess for this league, for the content, my performance on KB is just really, really nice and makes playing the game a lot more enjoyable. I was lagging quite a bit on Penance Brand. I think it's because it explodes, not really sure. But yeah, I have close to no lag on this build. Like I said, this is not a full build guide, but I want to quickly go over my items and some of the new things that Instack and KB tricksters are doing this league. So Mirror 1, Instack and 1, pretty classic, not much to say here. Something new this league is the helmet. So the helmet, we have both Crusader and Hunter Influence. The only influence that actually matters is Crusader. The reason for that is the new Bound by Destiny jewel. It's the first line that we care for. 15% increased intelligence if 2 Crusader items are equipped. So your first Crusader item is the amulet, which is already your best in slot. That means you only need one more for this 15% intelligence. And Crusader helmet is quite good. You do get 12% intelligence. So missing on Smith implicits is not all that big of a deal. At the very high end, the best thing to do would be to get a Crusader influence Mage Blood, and then you can get a triple Sith implicit helmet. That would be the best in slot, but obviously that's quite expensive. I'll see if I get that far. Those spells are like 10 mirrors or something. They are quite expensive, but I do want to max this character to the fullest. So yeah, that is something new this league. Is this new tech with Bound by Destiny and Crusader helmet. Regular mirror shield plus 1 power charge in and flat energy shield. If you don't have Awaken 5, you actually want to get a mana reservation mirror shield over a flat energy shield. I had Awaken 5, so I got this one. Standard helical ring, triple reflected. So multi attributes and intelligence, all positive. Aspect of Spider doesn't matter if it goes negative, and then the line damage attacks to you doesn't matter. You just want this very, very high intelligence. 200 int is quite a bit, and of course you reflect it with your Colossus ring. A standard Instack mirror chest. Not much to say here. You get a lot less damage taken. As you can see, I'm 3,600 int. Once again, my character's not finished. So this chest is providing 20% less damage taken. Just the implicit alone, that's really, really insane. I have Flask applied to you, have 32% increased effect for the Ruby Flask. If you don't have this, then you have 89 max fire res and not 90. So that is the better implicit. If you do get 90 some other way, which I don't really think you can, then you can use Arctic Armor has increased buff effect. But yeah, I have Flask effect, so I can have 90 max fire res with my Ruby Flask. Gloves, pretty high-end and stacking KB gloves. Not much to say here. This attack speed, intelligence, abyssal socket, triple ES. You can also get damage while leeching, but I feel like my damage is already so high that I'd rather just have more ES. Just go for the tank stats, right? Int Mage Blood. You can also use Hunter here as well. Both are good, but Mage Blood is just easier to fix your res. You just put your Ruby Flask and Sublime Vision, and essentially all your res is solved. Then standard Instack and Boots with suppression. So we are suppress cap on this build as well, which is something you usually cannot get on Deadeye. So we are 100% suppress cap. Don't have to rely on lucky. It is pretty nice. We are extremely tanky. I'll show in the POV in a second. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the gear. Flask is pretty standard. Ruby, Silver, Quicksilver, Diamond. You can replace the Diamond for the new Wine of the Prophet if you want. And Dying Sun. For my testing, Dying Sun does perform better than Wine of the Prophet because KB scales from both the projectiles and increased area effect. You only need 16% area effect on Dying Sun to reach the breakpoint. Outside of that, we have a triple cluster setup. Not a lot of people do this, but this is the optimal way to play KB Instack at high end. Triple clusters is the best way to play. Something to note is that the first 2 clusters are this all attributes, int, ES, and increased effect. And the third cluster, you want it to be attack speed cluster because you kind of have diminishing returns. Well, not diminishing returns, but increased damage is an additive stat. So getting like another spell damage cluster actually isn't that much more damage over the attack speed cluster. So yeah, third cluster is the attack speed cluster. Also makes your shield charge feel better as well. It is the optimal way if you want to get a lot more damage. Quickly on my jewels, we have Storm Shroud CB immune. We're getting Ailment of Void through 2 Abyss jewels with 50% chance to avoid being shocked. These jewels are pretty mid. I am going to replace these. It's just what I brought for now because it's all I saw on trade. We have Emperor's Wit with mana reservation. For my build, I actually do need 1 jewel with reservation efficiency, and Emperor's Wit was the cheapest price. Emperor's Mastery, pretty standard for instacking. Bound by Destiny, everything over this. Sublime Vision combined with the Watcher's Eye right here, 20% of cold land damage taken as fire damage, and combined with Temper of War, you get 100% of ally damage taken as fire damage, which allows you just to focus on fire res, and you get 90 max fire res, which is then essentially 90 max all res. This also helps versus pen mods as well. If there's Shaper, for example, it has cold pen. Cold pen's irrelevant because you make it go to fire damage. So yeah, Very, very nice. Sublime Vision. Everyone knows how good this is. It's of course also very, very expensive. The Watcher's Eye, besides the Prettier Fire mod, the 2 Wrath mods are actually very, very good. The reason why is because of Mercs. Despite using this Prettier Fire Sublime Vision, you still can have auras on you from other players. And since Merc is not you, you still get the Zeal Chain Wrath. Zeal Chain doesn't matter. It's mostly just for the Wrath. So because you still get a Wrath, you didn't actually get a triple prop Watcher's Eye, which is even more damage. Something you couldn't actually do in past leagues. And then Forbidden Flesh and Flame, this is also something new this league, which is very, very strong. Essentially, you get half of Nimis for 2 jewel slots. Extremely powerful. What this does, it gives you random projectiles, just like Nimis, and it makes return prod, 50% chance per projectile to return back to you. So yeah, this is very, very, very strong. If you don't have this, you have to use Nimis, and losing a whole ring slot on this build is quite bad because you are in stacker. And as you can see, 1 ring slot is 600 intelligence. To be able to use 2 forbidden jewels instead is absolutely insane power increase for this build. It's also a big reason why Trickster is just really good this league for KB in stacker, because if you're playing Deadeye, you don't have these forbidden jewels, you have to use Nimis, and therefore you lose a ton of intelligence. Then of course, Lethal Pride. I think this is the best Lethal Pride. Essentially, it has Intimidate and 2 double damage. I didn't find anything else, and it also has reduced crit on you, which is quite nice. Of course, for the Tempered by the War, which I just went over. So yeah, that's the whole character overview. Hope I did it pretty quick. Like I said, it's not gonna be a full guide yet, but this is my project for the end goal of this league, is to make the best KB in stacker there is. Currently on PoE Ninja, I'm pretty much tied or at the highest ES compared to any other KB in stacker. We can go there right now, actually. As you can see, the top one is 32k ES. I think it doesn't count some of the visuals right now. So I'm pretty much tied or the highest ES on at least Ninja for KB Instack and ES, which is quite cool. I do want to max this character quite a bit more. As for the POB, which I will have linked down below, as you can see, the numbers right here. So how KB works, I don't really know what this damage calculation is 100% correct, but you do multi-hit quite a bit with a Tornado tech. So you use Tornado with Spell Slinger. They combine with Return Prod, you're getting multiple hits per KB. So I don't know exact math on this, how many hits you are getting, but I've seen around 4 to 5. So yeah, the DPS is probably anywhere from like 800 to 900 mil at my current gear level. I think something like 1 billion should be pretty doable on this build. Yeah, we're at 33k ES. I'm going to get 34k ES at the very high end. And as you can see, the EHP here is absolutely insane. 832k LA max hit and 129k fizz. This does not include a mortal call, of course, which you have on cast when damage taken. So yeah, your EHP is absolutely insane. You can just face tank everything on this build. It feels extremely good. And like I said, I still have a lot more to prove with this build. Yeah, I'll have this link down below, and I'll have the more budget or quote unquote budget one link down below as well. But yeah, this character is extremely fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this character, and I want to max it to the fullest. One last thing I want to go real quick is to clear this character. So if you do want more clear for Breach, what I would recommend is Replica Void Walkers. This gives you +1 chain for your boot slot. And then of course also use Awakened Fork. For the higher damage, you replace Awakened Fork with Energy Leech, but for mapping, I do prefer Awakened Fork. And if you want more clear speed, use Replica Void Walkers. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I definitely will have a full in-depth guide later on once I complete the character, but I still have a little bit more mirrors to farm. But yeah, that's about it.